Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first. With breaking news and in-depth reporting. Up-to-the-minute weather. And all your sports news and highlights. It's all here, now, on Carolina News.
This is the scene across the Midlands right now. Heavy winds and rains are pounding the area, and flash flood warnings are in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. Good afternoon and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Jada Williams.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Cirillo.
Rains continue to drench the capital city as powerful storms move through the south, and it doesn't look like it's slowing up anytime soon this evening. For more on what you can expect tonight, let's take it to our weather reporter, Parker King, who's live in the Kennedy greenhouse. Parker?
Well, that's right, Eric and Jada. As we've all been looking out. That's right, Eric and Jada. We've all been looking out the window all day waiting to see when is the rain going to fall. Well, as you can see behind me, it has started. It has started to thunder and you can see lightning. If we'll go ahead and take a look at the radar, there is a reports of a tornado spotted in Batesburg and Leesville and reports of 3-inch hail. Everything you see in red, those are tornado warnings for most of the Midlands, and there's also a tornado watch in Lexington County. I'll continue to keep you guys updated and follow these storms, and I'll give you the complete forecast coming up later on. Back to you in the studio.
A woman was gunned down in the streets of North Columbia last night. Our reporter Brandon Knapp has the latest.
Last night, a woman was shot and killed somewhere along the 5700 block of Coon Road. I'm standing here now with a church to my left, a crematorium to my right, and another church behind me. I talked to neighbors about what it's like to have a shooting so close to home.
Well, we got so much walking traffic through here, and people just take the shortcut over to North Main. A lot of drugs, a lot of violence. So I'm used to it. I've lived here since '74, so I'm kind of used to it.
Okay. Rump says that the local violence doesn't scare him.
I tell you, I got my own gun.
Oh.
So I'm not a scary person.
Okay. Police have released few details about the shooting, but if you have any information, you're encouraged to call 1-888-CRIME-SC. Brandon Knapp, Carolina News.
The police are remaining quiet on this story for now, but we'll keep you updated with any new updates as they become available.
A study at the Medical University of South Carolina shows that African American women in the Gullah community are more likely to develop the disease lupus. Our Carolina News reporter Eicher-Williams traveled to Charleston to find out more.
Of pictures of her. I'm Tanya Jones. I'm the mother of Shelby Jones. Shelby was a lupus patient. Shelby was diagnosed with lupus approximately 3 weeks before her 18th birthday.
Shelby Jones was an honors student majoring in nursing at the University of South Carolina. In her sophomore year, she voluntarily withdrew from school due to lupus-related complications.
I said, "Mom, I'm just not feeling well." And she said, I don't feel like I can really focus and have the energy for school right now, so, I've decided I'm going to take some time off.
But Shelby never made it back to school.
It was Tuesday, September 30th. It was approximately 11. It was between 11 and 12, and Shelby had a conversation with me, and I went over to sit with her at the bed and touch her, and she just, she took her last breaths.
Shelby died of lupus at the age of 19. Lupus is an autoimmune disease in which the body's immune system attacks healthy body tissue. But what isn't mistaken by doctors is that lupus impacts the Gullah community very heavily.
Gullah African Americans seem to have a higher prevalence than you would expect for lupus.
About 1 in every 200 African American women, particularly in the Gullah community, will develop lupus in her lifetime.
You could either hear that number and think, oh, it's rare, but we hear that number and think, my goodness, that's way too many people.
In a recent investigation by Dr. Kamen's team at MUSC, it was revealed lupus is rare in West Africa, where the gullah originated, which means the disease is not purely genetic as once believed.
You would think if it was like purely genetic, that you would see lupus also in Sierra Leone, where the genetics are so shared, but you don't see lupus at all there, which really makes us think that it's something environmental.
Theories that doctors believe contribute to this chronic disease in the area include dieting and commonly used chemicals that are not used in other parts of the world.
Maybe we can make a breakthrough by working with the community here. Since they do have a lot of community members affected by lupus, they've been very engaged in the research.
Through our journey with lupus, it wasn't that long, but it seemed like an eternity as we went through the process. Didn't seem as if there was much information.
But she is hopeful that researchers will find out more information about lupus so they can save the lives of others who suffer with this disease. Danielle Williams, Carolina News.
MUSC is currently enrolling patients, family members of patients, and unrelated community members from all gullah communities in an observational study. The main purpose of the study is to find genes and possible factors from the environment that result in the development of lupus.
While the NFL has 32 teams, players always seem to be bonded to one as their favorite. Although few players are on the same team twice, several players always seem to be drawn back to Charlotte and the Carolina Panthers. Carolina News' Haley Anders talked to the Panthers about why players always seem to want to go back to the Tar Heel State.
It feels good to be home. It actually feels like I never left.
Carolina Panther fans rejoiced when Julius Peppers came home.
Now you think of Mario Addison on one edge, you got a Charles Johnson, you got a Pep, you put Pep down in a 3 technique, a 1 technique, you just got better as a defensive front.
Panther fans recognize that voice?
Oh goodness, dude. You beast, man, you can run, dude.
Eugene Robinson, former player and current Panthers radio broadcaster, came to Charlotte in 2000 to retire from the league. But the Panthers had other plans.
Man, the Carolina Panthers just called you up. You want to play a year? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll play a year. You want to go ahead and pay me to play a year, get acclimated to the city, have my kids get back in the whole mix, that whole thing.
Eugene was home.
My reasons for staying here are selfish. I love this place. Man, what? I'm not leaving.
Eugene isn't the only one. Sports Illustrated writer Jonathan Jones says players are lured here because of what Charlotte offers.
Where you have in Charlotte, you have this stadium a mile away. Most of these guys are living in condos and apartments. You can very clearly establish a family here. Great schools, great people. And it's steeped in a lot of diversity, right? I mean, whoever you are, and NFL players come from all walks of lives, you can get a lot of that in Charlotte as opposed to a lot of other places.
But Eugene thinks the reason why players come from all across the nation to Charlotte starts at the top with owner Jerry Richardson.
Mr. Richardson's been building this fabric for a very, very long time, and I come in as one of those little stitches that he kind of weaves in that deal. People play here because there's an atmosphere here in the Carolinas that's conducive to winning, but it's also where you go in that locker room and it's like an instant brotherhood.
Just like coming home. From Charlotte, Haley Anders, Carolina News.
While many NFL players may be looking to move to Charlotte, college players are constantly working to make the jump to the big leagues. But what happens when they fall short? Eric Cirillo went inside the life of former college football players who had dreams of making it big, but fell short, and how they were prepared for life after sports.
I did this piece because it's one of the cartoons from my childhood, Samurai Jack. They just brought this show back.
For Garrison Gist, art has always been part of his career path, be it on canvas or on the football field. Gist was fullback and running back for the Gamecocks during his time at the University of South Carolina, but had aspirations that went beyond the turf.
I want to get into like the museum and gallery business.
But tackling those goals was trying at times during his college career.
It sucked sometimes when you got 6 a.m. workouts and then you got an 8 a.m. class, so you're trying not to fall asleep in class, or You got class all day and then meetings and then stuff like that.
Stuff that former athletes know all too well. Meet Joe Weidman, an associate at the Hendrick Gardner law firm in Columbia and former linebacker at Presbyterian College who had dreams of making it to the NFL.
Opportunities came where scouts come in, and just at a certain point I was like, I might actually have a chance. And that's when I really, started to work hard towards actually trying to be able to take it to the next level.
That opportunity came when Weidman got a chance to work out for the Buffalo Bills, but it didn't work out.
No, didn't work out, man. And
the percentage of college football players that make it to the NFL is less than 2%. So what do the other 98% do when the bright lights finally go off? Erica Nelson is the Director of Life Skills and Community Outreach at the University of South Carolina, and she works with the athletes to prepare them for life after sports.
As they come in, we have an orientation for them. We have additional programming that goes on throughout their 4 years here at USC, and certainly getting into their senior year, we have a networking seminar where we're pairing them with professionals working in the fields they aspire to work in, whether that's related to their major or just an interest that they have.
And what does she try to instill in the athletes during their time in school?
The lights are going to go off, the clock is going to hit zero, and the career is going to be over, and what have you done to prepare yourself for that time?
Preparing now in order to succeed later.
Even if you make it, it's going to end at some point. So what do you have to fall back on?
It's only going to limit you as much as you allow it to, because if you're truly invested in trying to engage in a certain career, you're going to go out, you're going to find an internship and do what you need to do to present yourself with those opportunities you need. So,
Garrison Gist is currently a substitute teacher at Northwestern High School in Rock Hill, but is working to make the transition to get into the museum and gallery industry. Joe Weidman is working towards getting his license to practice law in South Carolina.
You know, it was great to see visiting with both of them and hearing their stories and hearing what they went through. It was really telling to hear what they went through and how they prepared themselves in case football didn't work out. I mean, less than 2% make it, so gotta have something to fall back on.
And it's really great that they both knew what to do with their lives going ahead. They both had special skills and talents outside of the football field.
Absolutely. It was it was a great story. It was a great time. But still to come this afternoon on Carolina News, a controversial new bill with only single-digit approval rating has been approved by both Congress and the President. Find out what's in the law straight ahead.
The women we love, the women who love us, they are dying. Heart disease is our #1 killer, taking more lives than all forms of cancer combined. But we have the power to save those lives, our lives, because the greatest force for women is women. It's time to stand together, to fight harder, to shout louder. It's time to go red for women.
Who doesn't want a shiny new electronic device? Sure, back home there's a garage or a basement full of old electronics that we don't talk about. But old electronics aren't garbage, and they're not useless. They're full of parts and materials that can be recycled into new electronics or donated to some wonderful causes. That flip phone and old computer can still live on. Recycling electronics is the green thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and it's so easy. Log on to greenergadgets.org and enter your zip code to find the recycling center nearest you.
President Donald Trump signed a bill this week overturning Obama-era internet privacy laws. The legislation, which passed both houses of Congress, would allow internet service providers to sell your personal browsing history and other private information to third parties. The vote was nearly along party lines, with all Democrats and 15 Republicans, including South Carolina's Mark Sanford, going against the bill. According to a recent YouGov poll, only 6% of Americans approve of the bill, with 83% opposing.
The arts are nice, but do they really need government funding? Carolina News reporter Andrea Esselman brings you a look at how President Trump's budget plan would hit the Columbia arts community.
In early March, President Trump submitted his 2018 budget proposal to Congress. The proposal completely eliminates arts and humanities funding. Joelle Ryan Cook is a director at the Columbia Museum of Arts, and she says eliminating this funding would have many negative effects.
If you take away the grants for those artists, then we're not going to have people to show in our museums. We're not going to have people to show in our theaters. We're not going to have that. And so that loss of the brain trust and the development of that brain trust and that creativity is going to have a very big negative impact.
On top of that, the local economy could be negatively affected.
This museum alone has a $23 million impact on our own community because of the multiplier effect of the way our own budget is spent and the way that we have investment into this museum. So every dollar spent by government to support our museum gets a $16 return on investment.
The Columbia Museum of Art is only one of many organizations here in the Midlands that receives federal aid. The South Carolina Arts Commission receives all of its operating budget from the National Endowment of the Arts, or NEA, and eliminating this budget would make them less able to provide grants to artists and organizations across the state. Communications Director Millie Hoffs says that they are preparing for the change, but are hopeful that the NEA will stay.
The President and his administration, they don't actually set the budget, Congress sets the budget. The good news is, for many, many years, the NEA has had bipartisan support in Congress, and in fact, before the current administration came in, there had actually been an increase recommended for the NEA.
But why should the government invest in the arts?
Arts are not extra and they're not separate from everything else that we do. So if you start thinking about all the ways that the arts impact your life and you get to that product, that experience, the arts are embedded in that.
For now, the Museum and Arts Commission will continue on as if the funding will remain, but they are prepared to adapt if federal funding falls through. Andrea Esselman, Carolina News.
The South Carolina Arts Commission is asking anyone who is concerned about the issue to contact congressional representatives to keep them aware of support for the arts across the country. I think it's an important thing to do. The arts, they do so much people don't even realize. A lot goes unnoticed, and so to keep that going and to keep it afloat it's pretty important.
Yeah, and it's a lot of talent and a lot of heart and passion put into artwork, so I definitely would not want to see those people stunted.
Absolutely agree.
Well, flood warnings are still in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. It doesn't look like rain will pick up until later this evening.
For more on the forecast for the first of the evening, let's toss it over to Parker King, who is live in the Kennedy Greenhouse. Does it look like this rain is going to stay here for very long, Parker?
Well, Eric and Jada, it is starting to get worse. The thunder and lightning is becoming more frequent, and there are small pieces of hail starting to mix in with this rain. I will continue to track these storms and give you the complete updates next.
Adopt a dog, adopt a big dog, unless you have a small apartment. But if you have a little grass, get off your ass. Adopt a dog, adopt a dog, adopt a big dog, and you will have a bigger friend. Adopt a dog, adopt a big dog, give him a home he can defend. Ooh.
I just walked by and I said, "What's happening, guys?" And they told me they were making music.
It's the way you walk, it's the way you talk. I like his music.
They said I could play, so any chance to play at all. You know, that's my life. I love music.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
The Storm Prediction Center has put part of South Carolina, including Columbia, at their high-risk level for severe weather. This is the highest level on their scale. A flash flood watch is also in effect for the Midlands. One of the effects include damaging winds, hail, frequent lightning, and isolated risk of tornadoes. Officials are monitoring this storm and ask you to take all alerts seriously.
While most of the Midlands is under a high threat risk, Richland County has closed its buildings for the day, and so has the university. For more on what these storms could pose, we take it over to our weather reporter, Parker King, who is live in the Kennedy Greenhouse studio. Parker?
Well, we had to shut the doors in here because we were getting too much rain inside the studio. It's still storming, winds are starting to pick up. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's currently going on in Columbia. The temperature is currently 69 degrees. The humidity is up to 82%, and that is because of the weather that we are having. The wind is going to start picking up. It is at 7 miles per hour out of the southeast right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the rest of the state. We'll see it's in the high 70s for majority of the coast, 69 in Columbia, and in the upstate, 59 in Greenville. So let's go ahead and take a look at our radar and warnings. Like I was saying earlier, there was reports of a tornado spotted in Batesburg and Leesville, and 3-inch hail was reported. So all of this in red right here, those are tornado warnings, and there's currently a tornado watch in Lexington County. All of this in yellow here, those are severe thunderstorms. You can see this line of storms, those will be headed our way right now, and they're over us right now, and they'll be heading our way into this evening. So why is all of this happening? Well, you can see there is a high off the coast in the Atlantic, and that is a strong high that is pushing warm air into this low right here, into this cold front, and that's what's giving us this unstable temperatures. But by tomorrow morning, you can see there is this high right here that forming in the west, and by tomorrow morning, this will start to clear things out. So we'll go to take a look at tomorrow. See this low that we were having, that will push up north, and this high will move through, clearing us out, giving us a nice clear day, but we'll cool temperatures off. So let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's lows. It's going to drop a little bit. It'll be 66 in Charleston, pretty much low 60s throughout majority of the state, a little bit cooler in the upstate, high 50s. And heading into tomorrow, that cold front is going to move in, giving us cooler temperatures, about 15 degrees cooler than we have been seeing in the past few days. Let's see, 66 in Hilton Head, 64 in Columbia, and 57 in Greenville. So if we go ahead and take a look at what's going to happen for the rest of the week. Well, tonight, overnight, we're going to be having this severe weather, and possibly into tomorrow morning we could see some showers, and the temperatures are going to drop to about 65. They'll rise a little bit on Friday to 69. Be partly cloudy for Saturday, but the weekend, once that high I was talking about moves over top of us, it'll start bringing us warmer temperatures, and that on Sunday and on Monday we will move up to the 70s, 72 on Sunday, and 78 on Monday. So I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Coming up on Carolina News, Coach Frank Martin has received much praise for the
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards!
Oh, don't. Okay.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, Yeah. here it comes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you.
Let's go.
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Well, Brewer, basketball season's finally over. but we're still hearing more and more news coming out of it.
Well, we should be. I mean, our women won the national championship, so that's a great thing. But this story is actually coming from the men's side. The Coach of the Year has been awarded. That would be Frank Martin. He has been named the recipient of the 2017 Jim Phelan National Coach of the Year Award. The finalist list were 20 coaches throughout Division I basketball, including all coaches in the Final Four. Martin took the Gamecocks to their first ever Final Four and led the team to the most wins in school history. South Carolina also finished 6th in the USA Today coaches poll. And after losing to Auburn off of a walk-off homer in the bottom of the ninth on Sunday, our baseball team returned to Founders Park to face off against Furman. LT Tolbert continues his consistency at the dish, going 2 for 4 with a career-high 3 RBIs. He is now riding an 8-game hit streak. Then in the bottom of the fourth, freshman Carlos Cortez floats one just out of reach of the center fielder. This brings 2 runs across the plate. Alex Destino also sends one home with a zinger sent into right field. Cody Morris gets the win. Gamecocks take this one 6-1. Head coach Chad Holbrook was pleased with the bounce-back performance.
Well, it was a good win for us, coming off a tough loss on Sunday. We're halfway through the season, I guess, right here, and won 20 games and very difficult schedule, and maybe could have won a couple more here and there that were in the balance, maybe a pitch here, a pitch there, but we're in a good spot and got a lot to play for. Got everything, the goals that we've set forth and where we are in the league, everything's in front of us.
After a 1-game homestand against Furman, the Gamecocks will begin a 3-game homestand. Starting tomorrow night at 7 p.m., the Gamecocks will take on Vanderbilt at Founders Park. The 3-game series will continue Friday night at 7 and Saturday at 12 p.m. The women's softball game that was scheduled tonight against Georgia Southern has been canceled due to weather concerns. They will be back in action Friday, April 7th, against Mississippi State in Starkville. So a lot of weather problems kind of canceling our baseball games, which is a common thing. But they'll get back on the field soon. Hopefully these storms will pass quick.
Well, yeah, they're not supposed to last very long, but hopefully they will and everyone can get back on the field and get those games underway.
That's good news. Our baseball team's playing well.
Yes, they are. They are. It's opening week for Major League Baseball, but straight ahead, see why some are sprinting to the ballpark. Stay tuned.
See the new gorillas and feed the giraffes at Riverbank Zoo, Columbia.
I like to volunteer for the Neighborhood Emergency Response Team to help the firefighters. As you know, I was Fireman of the Year 3 times.
You're Mariano Rivera.
Thank you.
Fireman of the Year is a baseball award.
Yes.
You're not actually a fireman.
No.
Fireman of the Year, huh?
Just a few more minutes.
When you help your neighbors, you help your nation. Make a difference. Volunteer. Learn how at usafreedomcorps.gov.
Milwaukee celebrates their opening day by having a sausage race. The race includes chorizo, Polish sausage, Italian sausage, and bratwurst. The sausages delivered the first brat to Miller Park, where the Milwaukee Brewers will take on the Colorado Rockies.
I've always wanted to put one of those mascots on. You ever see them on the baseball games where they run around the field, these huge mascots?
Looks like the Nationals games with the President's Race.
Exactly.
Park, yeah.
I've always wanted to do that. It's like one of my dreams is to do that.
Those things have to be extremely hot in there. I wouldn't want to be dealing with whatever's going on.
In the heat, I imagine it's a lot, but still sounds fun though.
I think that'd look good on set. Four little sausages and bratwurst, talking about news.
Well, we can't have any baseball games if it's raining, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 5-day forecast. There are severe thunderstorms warnings right now for majority of the Midlands. There's also the tornado warnings for the Midlands, and there's also a tornado watch in Lexington County right now. These storms will keep going throughout the evening, Thursday and into Thursday morning, possible showers in the morning, but our temperatures are going to start cooling down a little bit on Friday and Saturday, but by the end of the weekend and into our work week, it'll start to warm right back up.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow. Have a great evening.